Our pattern of not playing very well on the road to win our home ball games here with the 3-3 start. The problem is now you come in with a team, Florida, I think that's number 3 ranked in the nation now, and it's going to be hard to get healthy at home against them. They're such a well-coached ball club and a veteran ball club, and they just really play well. So you got to be up to the task here against Florida.
Questions? What sticks out to you the most when you watch them on film?
Well, I think the biggest thing is, like, they make mistakes on the defensive end, but their rotations to cover up for those mistakes is really phenomenal. They make multiple rotations on defense and keep you out of the paint and cover up for any mistakes that they do make. And I think on the offensive end, it's just like their tempo of how fast they play. You know, a lot of people run a ball screen motion, but their ball screen motion is such an up-tempo and it's fast, so it's hard for you to make those defensive assignments that you need to make. I know that you're supposed to, like, maybe down this ball screen, up this ball screen, but the pace is coming at, it's really hard to get that done.
I know you never like for Gavin to get the foul trouble, but how big of a point of emphasis is it this week with Prather and Young, those big guys in the post for them?
Well, I think it's important for us any game because we only have one true post guy, one true back to the basket player with Gavin. And what we got to work on is we've been showing Gavin here these past couple games, and we'll give a film him today, is that he's got to do a better job of being in position already. I think most of his fouls have come in these past couple of games because he is rotating late. And so when he's rotating late, he's fouls. So he needs to already be where he needs to be at so he doesn't pick up those unnecessary fouls and rotations.
Talk about the kind of, I know you spoke a little bit over the weekend, but just the kind of boost of energy that Bear and Tevin brought in that game, and they kind of helped y'all scrap back in a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, I mean, Bear comes in, he really hasn't picked up everything yet, and it's unfair to him to throw him out there in those situations at times because he doesn't know all the offensive and defensive concepts, and that's not a detriment to him, just the fact that he got here so late. But the thing that comes through with him is that he plays so hard, and so he's a physical presence in there. He's not afraid to put his body out there and go get a defensive rebound and go get an offensive rebound. So it's just a matter of time with him picking up what we're trying to get done on both ends of the court.
How's he mixed in, like, chemistry-wise? I know it's hard to get it that quick, but just mixing in with the guys right there.
He's a great kid. I mean, I think the thing that I pick up from when I watch tape is like how interactive he is on the bench when guys coming out of the game. He's always into the game. It seems like he's a great kid. So all my interactions with Bear have been really good so far, and I just think he's a really good kid and a really good person.
He's naturally athletic, but what have you seen with him as far as mentally grasping what you want from him in practice and stuff like that?
Well, I think it's hard for him at this point in time because everybody on the court knows what they're doing already. Even Travis, you know, has a jump on him because he's been here a little bit longer than he has. But I think to Bear's credit, he's tried to pick up on things as fast as he can. It's just really an unfair deal for him because all those guys have about a 6-month jump on him on what we're trying to get done.
With that to consider, how much do you see him playing? You want to add minutes to him, or what?
It's hard to say. It's a game-to-game situation. I told Bear that, you know, we're in a situation where we got those 3 post guys, and what we want to do is have him prepared to be able to play when any of those guys get in foul trouble and we only have 1 post guy available. So that's the game plan right now. And Bear was great. He was like, hey, Coach, I'm not trying to come here and be a star. I just want to come in and help the team any way I can. I just love basketball.
Regarding the apology you put on Instagram yesterday, when did you speak with Marshall and Andy Kennedy? Was it after the game? Was it the next morning?
Immediately after the game.
And has the SEC contacted you, or have you contacted them?
I talked to Commissioner Slive.
And how did that conversation go?
Like Commissioner Slive always says, our conversations will always be private.
I was considering last week, I think we were in the same room on the same time, and we were talking about how you haven't picked up any keys. You know, it's not something. How disappointing, or how does something happen with that, like where you maybe lose your cool when we talked? But last week you kind of said that was something you emphasized of not losing your cool in this situation. Yeah,
well, I think it's something that one of our rules in our program is don't do anything to embarrass yourself, the basketball program, the university, or your family. And obviously I did that, so that's something I got to make sure I hold myself accountable as well, too.
Did you speak to Jim about the situation?
I haven't been with him yet.
Regarding Florida, you know, Billy has in the past liked to go 94 feet with his defense. Are you seeing that that's what they're doing this year, or is he kind of doing something different with his team a little bit?
No, he's doing the same thing. I just got done watching their game against Tennessee, and I watched some other games, obviously, but they're picking up 94 feet and doing running and jumping. They're not doing it the whole game. They're picking their spots to do it in. If they have success with it, they continue it. But he's done something different where he's done some run and jump back to actual 2-3 zone. And that's kind of hard to do, and it's something they've been successful doing. So he changes up the defense. They're actually playing some 1-3-1 zone defense now that they haven't played in the past. But I just think they're a phenomenal defensive team.
With Fred, I know obviously you talked to him and everybody about, taking smart shots, and you said for the most part he's done that, but it seems like he almost has more success with harder shots, a hand in his face, another night, shot clock going down. I mean, it's hard to explain. It seems like he has better success when he's got guys running at him than he is wide open.
Well, I think that he always has guys running at him, seems like to me, and I wish he would utilize his shot fake a little bit more. I think he's had some open opportunities to make some shots, and I think he's done a good job of trying to decipher what the difference is between a good shot and a bad shot. The thing I like about Fred is like he doesn't have any ill intent at all. Sometimes he truly just doesn't know the difference between a good shot and a bad shot, but he's not out there trying to be malicious with his shot taking. So he's on. I just think Fred is for the team. I think he's doing everything he can. And I will say this, I thought he did a phenomenal job on Marshall. He made a couple mistakes there, but I thought for the most part Fred chased him around and was there, did get screened, because it's a hard job to do.
IJ seems to be a bit more quick to pull the trigger now when he hits it off the team.
Yeah, and he should be, because he's a guy that can make shots and he's a guy that can generate offense for us. I think with any freshman, he's trying to find his way, and I think he's had 2 injuries here that's kind of knocked him off track a little bit. But I think he's going to be fine.
Speaking of IJ and those injuries, he didn't seem to miss a beat though Saturday against Ole Miss. Does that speak to his maturity, how he's just able to come off the bench even cold, 10 days not playing, and come out there and play like he did against Ole Miss?
Well, I think it speaks to that, but also just think it speaks to he's a good basketball player. And that's our expectations for IJ, is to come in and be able to help the team any way he can, and I think he has those same expectations too.
You sat in here and talked about, charting shot clock at Alabama, and I think that first possession, and there was 3 seconds off the shot clock, and Fred, took that 3. Is that kind of the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde persona that this team has home and road? Just where I think you would even stop play and go, what are we doing?
Well, I think that's for any team for the most part. We're still talking about guys who are prominent players. They're all sophomores, right. And so trying to get those guys to make this jump from being a team that won 10 games last year to go and beat good teams on the road. Kentucky's a good team. Ole Miss is a good team. It's a big jump, and so now just trying to make sure we close that gap. My biggest concern is what we're doing to be competitive on the road. And so once we're competitive on the road, then we can take that next jump and actually win those tough road games.
Regarding building a team, not necessarily wins or losses, but building a team, how does what Billy Donovan has done at Florida with kind of equal scoring and defense compare to how you kind of want to build something new?
Well, I think the first thing that goes along with that is just us having enough bodies in order to do that. I think, with the fact that we just got 8 scholarship guys available to us, that makes a difference. But Billy Donovan has done a phenomenal job there of getting guys who are talented basketball players to buy into a team system. And I think that's really one of the most difficult things to do in college basketball, is getting guys that are superstars, 5-star, 4-star guys, and getting them to play team basketball, not just on the offensive end, but also on the defensive end, too.
When you look at kind of the bodies thing, Vanderbilt, you guys are playing on Saturday, how difficult is it? I think you said today he's dealing with about 9 guys in practice and a manager. How difficult is it for going through it last year for a coach to deal with that situation, both mentally and physically?
Well, I think it's a little bit different. You're talking about Coach Stallings in the Vanderbilt situation.
Yes.
I think it's a little different for him because, he already had a system implemented. Last year I was trying to implement a system. I think he's a veteran ball coach, and he kind of knows what his strengths and weaknesses are of his team. And so I think it makes a difference in that when you're trying to come in your first year and build a program.
David, do you have any questions?
Good, thanks.
Anybody else?
Coach, just considering the standings right now, it seems like, Kentucky and Florida up there, and it's just kind of like a log jam right in the middle there. What do you see from the league so far as we near the at what point?
To be honest with you, I have no idea where we are in the standings. I don't know where people are. I'm just like on a game-to-game basis trying to, prepare my team. So I will say this, I think the SEC is a lot more balanced than it was last year. I think last year some people pointed to some games and said, hey, that's a win, that's a win, that's a win. And I think just from the very beginning when Georgia went in and won at Missouri, and you had some things, so-called surprises like Texas A&M going and winning at Tennessee, I think it speaks to like the parity that you have in SEC now.